something very, very important the President has talked about is the issue of large dams, medium dams, and small-scale dams, the small ones. Honorable Speaker, if I give you a place like Marsabit, the example of a place like Marsabit. Honorable Speaker, if today we have dams in Marsabit County, in Turkana County, around Ukambani area, Honorable Speaker, I'll tell you, we'll be having extra produce to send to our neighboring countries. And I want to thank the President for even talking about the 5 trillion investment he is looking for. And he has broken them into small pieces on how this money will be generated. And I really support that. And the reason why I should support this is today, or for the last many years, we've been being fed by relief supplies in Marsabit County, Wajir County, Mandera County, Turkana County, and many other northern counties. And if we have dams, the program he has shown, if that program is going to be successful, then I will tell you today this country will change. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of Social Health Authority, SHA, Honorable Speaker, recently I had, some months back, had a patient who was brought to Nyeri, and he was operated on. He had 2 surgeries. And both surgeries, Honorable Speaker, were paid for by SHA, the tune of 800,000 shillings. And this is an old man who is very poor. Although we've added some few coins on top of what SHA has given, I think that is a very positive move, and maybe in future, in the near future, looking at the vision of the President, I think the whole country will be covered by SHA. When we were in Logologo, Marsabit County, on Sunday the other week, the President was there. The President said, in Kiswahili, muende hospitali, SHA mi ndio nitalipa pesa. Says, go to the hospital, SHA will pay you. I will pay you. And I was asking, how can this happen? Then yesterday, I had a time to go and sit with the SHA CEO, and I asked her what that meant. And she told me very clearly, anything from rural hospitals managed by the counties will be free. But what is happening, Honorable Speaker, there is 13 billion shillings, which is supposed to be paid to the counties, and unfortunately, counties are not capable of managing those hospitals. From level 1 to level 4, level 3, they have not claimed that money, and this money is still lying with SHA, and I hope and wish the governors can take some action and see how our people can be managed, can be easily helped by giving them access to hospitals. Honorable Speaker, the issue that has to be fast-tracked is on national audit of SHA, on reimbursement. Appeal system has to be hastened so that claims can be paid very fast. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, in this House, I've said this House some time back, the affordable housing is a scam. I want to retract that wording now, because I've seen units being built in Nakuru, Eldoret, Mombasa, Nairobi, Marsabit, Isiolo, Meru, everywhere. And our people are really happy. And something the President has forgotten to mention, Honorable Speaker, we have commercial developers doing a lot of development in this country. If you go to Isili, South C, South B, Parklands, Kilimani, and many, many other places, they have invested heavily, and this is a huge contribution to this country. That is what should be also, the President should have mentioned, that they have contributed heavily to the development of this country. Honorable Speaker, there is issues we need to also discuss about universities. Funding model still is a challenge. I think the president needs to work on that one and see, definitely through the Treasury, Ministry of Education, to see how this can be rescued. Honorable Speaker, let me come to cost of living. Honorable Speaker, if you look at electricity cost in Ethiopia, is 1 birr per kilowatt hour. That means it's about 90 cents Kenya shillings per kilowatt hour. What do we have in Kenya, Honorable Speaker? 27 shillings per kilowatt hour. How do you expect the cost of living to be lower than any other East African countries? Let me give you an example of Ethiopia. The electricity capacity they are producing, Honorable Speaker, is 13,000 megawatts plus. What do we produce in Kenya? 2,700. You've heard the president talking about rationing. Imagine countries like Ethiopia, if you talk about rationing, they will be laughing at you. They have already given us 200 megawatts of electricity and 100 to Tanzania. So I will urge the president to talk to his counterpart, the Prime Minister, Ethiopian Prime Minister, and see if we can be given more supplies of more electricity into Kenya, because we have got a line which is capable of taking 2,000 megawatts. Honorable Speaker, the cost of living will not go down because of the issues of wealth. This needs to be tackled. If you want to, I don't know after how many years, if you want to take the model of Singapore, there are so many things we must do. And the president cannot be one-man army. He has to be, he has a vision. He's trying to tell his visions to us. But we have to, as politicians, as people of this country, we have to support him to make sure that his vision and dream comes through. That is how we are looking at Singapore. The other issue, Honorable Speaker, in Marsabit, there are so many roads that has told. Because of securitization of the money, he borrowed 75 billion. All those roads are now operational.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, why are you too stern today? What is the problem? You are too strict. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I want to register my appreciation to colleagues who have at least taken time to agree, disagree, critique, Mr. Speaker, the President's speech. There is a culture, Senator Mungatana, that is fast disappearing from Parliament. And as an elder, you need to be worried. This is no longer a house of debate. And it should concern anybody that loves the legislature. Much as I don't agree with many of the things Senator Sifuna says sometimes here, at least I appreciate one thing, that when he went around Nairobi and sought the opportunity to serve and represent those people here, he does that job here every afternoon. What I find difficult, dear colleagues, is for people to campaign so hard, and account is a difficult thing. Imagine, Mr. Speaker, you know, people even don't know that we earn the same salary with members of the National Assembly. Yet we represent and do a job that is 4, 5, 6, or even 17 times what they do in terms of representation, Mr. Speaker. Yet, after doing all that difficult task, Mr. Speaker, you find people not getting the time to come to the House. That really bothers me. I must appreciate that at least, unlike last year, today we went to the second, actually the third session of debate, because we did this speech yesterday afternoon, today in the morning, and this afternoon because of our colleagues who have spoken about it. Last year, actually, we concluded on the first session, because I don't know for what reason you couldn't find enough people to debate and say the things that they were saying. So I want to register my appreciation to colleagues who have taken time to read the 163 paragraphs of this speech and given their evaluation and their assessment. There are many that have agreed, with the proposals that are being made by the president and the call to action that he's giving to the nation on the things that needs to be achieved. Mr. Speaker, there are those that disagree as well. I agree, Mr. Speaker, with colleagues that are saying there are certain aspects that should have been mentioned and probably did not feature. But, Mr. Speaker, you know, there were days we used to go to the State of the Nation address and you sit there for 3 hours. In fact, I remember the former president another time, he threw away half of his speech and said, these things are too much, I've said enough that I need to say. But when you are a leader that appreciates what you are saying, Mr. Speaker, you limit yourself to that which you feel is most fundamental at that particular time. And I feel strongly, Mr. Speaker, that the president took time to address the issues of the progress that his administration has made the last 3 years, and now setting the solid foundation for what we need to do in the years that are coming. Mr. Speaker, we must appreciate that what part of the biggest deficiency that this country suffers is that we want to politicize everything. That we reduce our national conversations to be you must win or I must lose conversations, Mr. Speaker. We must rise and get to a point of having a vision that we agree to as a nation. And then we all aspire. And it will not matter who is president, who is senator, who is governor. We just know that these are the things that we are focusing on for the next 10, 15, or 20 years. Mr. Speaker, you know, many times when people speak about the things that have happened in this country, you would think that there was no country before 2022. There was a nation. There were challenges. If you speak about the education sector, for example, is it not true, Mr. Speaker, that in the last 3 years under this administration, what is the biggest challenge that many of the constituents, for example, the people that I represent in this house, ask us about? They tell you that we need enough teachers to teach our students, because the worst thing that can happen to a parent is to send your child to a public institution and there's no teacher to teach them. We were in a situation, Mr. Speaker, where in certain schools, you are finding that one teacher was teaching 3 or 4 subjects because there are not enough people. The progress that has been made of employing close to 80,000 teachers up to this point is significant progress and need to be noted. The second thing, Mr. Speaker, that we struggle about is infrastructure. I went through public education, and I know today when I visit, for example, Unity Primary School, where I went to school, Mr. Speaker, I feel troubled because the kids squeeze themselves in a tiny little room, close to 100 children, particularly in cities, a place like Nairobi here, Mr. Speaker, where many children go to public institutions, Mr. Speaker, don't have sufficient infrastructure. This government has put in place the sufficient resources first to build across the country 23,000 classrooms to take care of the transition that is happening from the former education 844 to CBE, competent-based education, Mr. Speaker, and the rest of the things that need to be done. Therefore, you can record, and that's what we have said. While it is good to say the things that are not up to par in all our sectors, we must never forget where we have come from and what has been done. You can say the same about the health sector. Speak to your governor, Governor Mutuma, and he will tell you, Mr. Speaker, that part of the bigger problem that many of our county hospitals used to face from the defunct NHIF is that when they offered services to citizens, many of our public hospitals would actually wait for a year or 2 before being paid. That is no longer the case. We have challenged, and I'm happy because we are all in this house, and I hope C.S. Duale meant what he said when he promised us that before the end of the mandatory 1 year, 3 months period that we have given them under the Section 43 of the Social Health Authority Act, he will bring a report to this house. And I mentioned to him and I said, I want to see that report detailed, name by name, the institutions that have been compensated in my own county. Because I want to go there and see Cheborgei Health Center. How much in compensation have they received over the last 1 year? Because that is the only way you're going to build a credible public health infrastructure, Mr. Speaker. One that is supported by payments from the national coverage that citizens are receiving. As we speak today, Mr. Speaker, you cannot argue with the fact that there are 28 million Kenyans that are registered under SHA. They register themselves, 50,000 of them each day. Do you know why they are registering? It's because they hear from their neighbor that when I was unwell, my bill was 600,000, 700,000, SHA paid for me 200,000 or 300,000. And that means a lot to the ordinary folk in the village. Mr. Speaker, we must establish ways through which we will provide medicine in our health facilities. It is the biggest concern each time, it's the biggest concern that citizens raise. For example, with me as a representative, each time when I speak in public engagements and ask them to register on SHA, because they tell me, then tell the governors to put medicine in the hospitals, because it's not sufficient just to walk there. Mr. Speaker, there have been arguments that have been made also about the lack of address to national values and principles of governance. My colleague, Senator Sifuna, the last paragraph of that article that you read speaks about sustainable development, development that transitions from one generation to the other. I believe that is what the president is speaking to in the last 45 paragraphs of his speech, the things that we must do as a republic. And he asked the questions in this speech, Mr. Speaker, that, for example, when we did privatization of Telcom, when we did privatization of KenGen, when we did privatization of Safaricom, where did those funds go? We consumed it all in salaries. That's why we are saying we must be a people that inflect and reflect and learn from the mistakes of the past. That's why we are proposing this time and saying that if we carry out any privatization like what is being done with pipeline and all the rest that are following, we must put it in a national sovereign wealth fund like other countries do, funds that will only be invested in making our country better. I believe that is part of sharing the burden from one generation to the other, and so many other things that can be done. What I want to challenge in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, because I know my time is up and I don't want to speak a lot because my colleague have said very, very important things, is as a house, what I expect us to do come 2026, Mr. Speaker, is in so many of these solid programs that are being proposed, where I feel we have let the people of Kenya down is on our oversight as an institution of governance in this country, Mr. Speaker. There are many programs, Mr. Speaker, that have been done and they are running out within the circles of public, Mr. Speaker, yet there are questions that citizens continue to raise, which they expect that us as their representatives, we will speak about them to fine-tune, from the affordable housing program to social health to this one of the sovereign wealth. Senator Mungatana, we must be the voice that continue to check and ensure the dream that we had when we passed those laws is implemented to the letter. My dear colleagues, there is what the executive can do. There is what also we must do as a legislature. And it is not in our place. We must compete. For example, I have challenged and I have told the House that as we receive the reports of, for example, the markets and the houses that are being built across the country, we must see the national spread. You must see significant markets of 700, 800, 900 million shillings being built in Tana River the same way they are being built in other parts of the country. That is our duty. And we must ensure that as the president and the executive do their part, we also do our part, Mr. Speaker. That is what we are called upon to. Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply and do ask my colleagues to take note of the fact that besides the speech of the State of the Nation, Mr. Speaker, that the President gave, there are other reports that are also tabled alongside, including the report on the state of security, the report on the progress made in fulfilling international obligations. Those are very important, Mr. Speaker, because, for example, why I'm speaking, Speaker, allow me just 30 seconds to say this, is because, for example, I know Kenya signs, what are they called? The name disappears from my mind right now. The economic agreements, CEPA, comprehensive economic partnership agreements with other countries, including countries like those in the Middle East, Mr. Speaker. It is the time has come for us as members of this House to look into the details of those agreements and see what the host countries give as their commitment, Mr. Speaker, in ensuring that the fundamental rights of the citizens from this country that work in those countries are guaranteed, Mr. Speaker. It is not fair for many of our young people that we see working, particularly in the Middle East, Mr. Speaker, and occasionally we keep seeing videos of them being harassed. Some of them are killed, Mr. Speaker, yet it is without consequence. There must be a consequence to the host country, Mr. Speaker, because all those agreements are signed and approved and ratified by this House. Therefore, it is our duty to ensure that we follow through, to ensure that Kenyans who work in those countries, Mr. Speaker, their rights are guaranteed. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Finally, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 66.3, I request for the department of the putting of a question until a later date. I thank you.
Very well, the putting of the question has been defined. We go to, okay, sorry. Honorable Senators, I want to reorganize order of business this afternoon. We defer order number 10 to order number 14. Those are committee of the whole. We go to order number 15.
Order number 15, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing on a petition by Mr. Francis Otieno regarding compensation to sugarcane crop damaged by the Department of Public Works, Roads, Energy and Transport in Pap Oriang in Siaya County.
This motion was discussed on Wednesday, 19th November 2025, afternoon sitting. Senator Nderito Kinyua has a balance of 16 minutes if he is around. If he is not, then we go to Senator Mungatana Danson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to debate this report. Mr. Speaker, this report was occasioned by one Mr. Francis Otieno, who wanted compensation for the damage on his sugarcane crop by the Department of Public Works, Roads, Energy and Transport in Pap/Oriang in Siaya County. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the efforts by the petitioner who sought that the Senate committee would intervene and help him out solve this problem. Mr. Speaker, the chair of this committee, I want to appreciate the work they put in. Senator Migori County, together with the team of honorable members from here, they went to hear this member, Mr. Speaker, and the complaint that he had. But Mr. Speaker, having listened to what the petitioner had put before the House, and having looked at all the factors that influenced their decision, I'm convinced that our Senate committee, in a way, did not do what our citizen expected of them. Mr. Speaker, if you look at what the committee has recommended, the committee made an interesting recommendation. The committee said that when the matter was initially presented to the Senate, the information indicated the existence of a dispute between the petitioner and a contractor hired by the county government. However, further interrogation of the matter revealed that this was a private dispute between the petitioner and the contractor, Mr. Ainia Odhiambo. The committee therefore recommends that the petitioner refers the matter to the appropriate bodies mandated to arbitrate or adjudicate private disputes. So, Mr. Speaker, the question that begs is that if you are seized of the matter and a citizen has come and made an appeal before the Senate committee and they have done all the due diligence, why can't the Senate committee at least give an opinion and give a finding that yes, there is a genuine complaint, that yes, the road was diverted from the initial direction to another direction. That yes, sugarcane crop valued this amount was destroyed, and that yes, the petitioner is entitled to compensation. Mr. Speaker, all this was not done. Instead, our petitioner, who saw that this is his last resort to getting justice, was again referred to other adjudicative bodies. Mr. Speaker, I believe that we have power to deal with matters such as this, and an opinion of the Senate committee, which we would adopt here in the House as the opinion of the Senate, would have added weight, even if it would have meant that the petitioner should follow up with other due processes. It would have added weight. But, Mr. Speaker, for the committee to tell us that they should just ask the petitioner to simply go to other adjudicative bodies, I feel that justice was not meted to the petitioner, the citizen who came before the Senate. And, Mr. Speaker, if this was the case from the very beginning, they should have said this at the very beginning. But to take time and get a citizen to put all the effort and then you leave him high and dry, I don't think this is the correct thing that the committee did, Mr. Speaker. And maybe going forward, we need to review our approach to these matters. But having said this, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the petitioner that he should not give up, that what you have done, your work that you have done, your sugar cane must not go to waste. The damages that you have incurred, you must pursue them so that you can get your right. Because it is not right. Mr. Speaker, when a farmer goes into the processes of farming, they spend a lot of money, Mr. Speaker. They spend a lot of energy, Mr. Speaker. And for some of us, it's also emotional when you see the crop coming up and the way it is looking green and the way it is swinging with the wind in our custom. People have created songs about food crops. When the rice is swinging in the air, Mr. Speaker, our people have created songs. There is cultural attachment to crop for those who are serious farmers. So, Mr. Speaker, for your crop to just be damaged, not by natural resources, natural circumstances such as flooding or change of weather or excess rains, but by a tractor that comes just because they have decided to change the road, they come into your land, and as they came to the petitioner's land here, Mr. Speaker, it is wrong. And this is why this man came to this Senate. And, Mr. Speaker, for the committee to tell them to go and get other adjudicative remedies, I think we didn't do justice. And the point must be made to the county government and to the public works department. They must be sensitive to our people, our citizens. They must be sensitive to those who have put in effort to decide to invest in farming. You must be sensitive before you go on destroying crops. It's a very sad thing. Some of our people have very strong attachment to animals like cows and bulls. But some of our cultures have very strong attachment, equal, if not more, to crops. So it is wrong to treat this like trash by sending tractors over people's lands without proper permission from the person who has put all that effort. So I sympathize with the petitioner here, Mr. Francis Otieno, and I want to tell you that you should not stop here. Go on and find your rights. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute.
Very well. Next is Senator Okenyuri Esther Anyeni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to comment on the report by the Roads Committee, and I equally share the sentiment of the Tana River Senator Mungatana, because I feel after actually going through their recommendations, observations, I feel it was very unfair for the committee to just say that the petitioner should refer the matter to appropriate bodies, as the Senate is not mandated to arbitrate or adjudicate private disputes. Mr. Speaker, the bottom line is that Mr. Otieno never received justice. So just by us as a committee ignoring, I think the committee deserved to go a step further and even try to give some kind of reprieve or advice for Mr. Otieno, because Mr. Otieno in this matter is a member of the public, and when members of the public come to the Senate, they hope, like we as their representatives, are going to look into their issues and speak on their behalf. So we can also not be part of the tossing that they are undergoing out there, Mr. Speaker, because for them to come to Parliament, they are looking at Parliament as the last resort for them. So, Mr. Speaker, I feel like for me, the committee recommendations are not convincing enough, because Mr. Otieno has not received the justice that he needed, because some of the facts are not disputed. Like like the sugarcane was destroyed, they have not disputed that. So when you say he needs to look for other avenues for him to get compensation, I really fail to understand, because already it's been proven that his sugarcane was destroyed and different assessment was done, and what is the discussion here is there were different amounts of compensation that were actually suggested. Maybe that should have been the point of discussion, not tossing him around to look for other avenues of getting redress, Mr. Speaker. So I share my views that the recommendations are not satisfactory. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Joyce Chepkoech, Korir.
Mike?
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance to also contribute on this report by the committee. Honorable Speaker, I would want to stand with the rest of the members in terms of how the committee has handled this matter, and I want to say that, Honorable Speaker, that since the matter is before the Senate, it would be prudent for this House to give justice to Mr. Otieno, and I would want to request, Honorable Speaker, that the committee should move further in terms of having a thorough investigation and fact findings to see the best way forward in terms of making sure that justice is served to Mr. Otieno, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Sorry. Honorable Senators, there is no other senator willing to contribute to this motion. Therefore, we defer, move her to reply. We defer that bit until maybe next time. Next one.
Order number 16, motion, consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Health on the county oversight and networking engagements in Laikipia and Meru counties.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the chair, let me move the motion. Mr. Speaker, consideration of the reports of the Standing Committee of the Health on the County Oversight Network Engagement in Laikipia and the Meru County. Mr. Speaker, these reports before the House contain the reports of the outcome of the comprehensive evidence gathering exercise undertaken by the Committee on Health to oversight deliveries of the medical service, public health sanitation in Laikipia and Meru County in 18th to 20th of June 2025. The oversight visits were adopted as a mode of the operation by the committee in order to gather the evidence and the argument information received within the presence of the parliaments and the key part of the how it engaged with the members of the public. Mr. Speaker, the primary objective of this engagement was critical to our oversight role, and these include to assess and state the quality of the infrastructure, the facility and hospital equipment and provision of the emergency service. Secondly, to assess the availability of the healthcare personnel, the gaps and the challenges faced by these counties regarding human resource for health. 3, to assess the availability of drugs and medical supply in the health facility. 4, to obtain the information on SHA, the facility accreditation, and the pending bills on medical, Kenya Medical Supply Agency, KEMSA. With the committee identify the following health facilities in the 2 counties we have visited. 1, Nyahururu County Referral Hospital and Nyanyuki Teaching Referral Hospital in Laikipia, and Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital, Timau Hospital, Sub-County